there, Lindsay here, the Frugal Crafter, with a quick review of some new products from Viviva. Viviva are the folks that do the color sheets, which you may be aware of. You may have seen them in either videos of mine or videos from other people. They're a very compact little booklet of watercolors similar to the Peerless watercolors, and they have recently brought out new pan sets over the last year and also some other sketchbooky journaly type things. So we're going to look at the brand new offerings, and I'll show you some of the other stuff too that I enjoy, and then you can decide that if it may or may not be good for you, you know. Best thing to do is to try stuff out and see what you think. So the first thing that I want to share with you is this tiny little palette of metallic watercolors. And this is really cute. Viviva tries to be eco-friendly with all of their products. And this is one of their cork palettes. And all the packaging is paper or cork. So we've got this sleeve. You want to keep this sleeve because that's going to hold it all together. It comes with a little swatch card, which I did swatch on, and then I swatched it on some black watercolor paper. This is what the palette looks like. There's a little, the paper is laminated so you can mix on it, but it's plastic free other than whatever they use for the lamination. These are, I don't know if I can, oh, maybe I can pull one out. They're kind of soggy because I was just using them. So they are a full half pan glued into a cork palette. Refilling this, you could refill them with your own tube colors when you're done if the palette was still in good shape. These are extruded pans that have been popped in there, and they're raised above the edge, but I didn't have any problems while I was using them and getting them, like, having them contaminate other colors. It does get a little messy, but I mean, I'm not worried about having a museum of art supplies when I die. I want to use my supplies, and I love the way it looks. I think it's really cute, and the nice thing about the cork is it does seem to absorb water while you're working, so you don't end up with like a puddly mess. If you're like, I like to sit when I'm doing my like World Watercolor Month stuff, I'll sit on my couch and I'll work, and I did use this for a World Watercolor sketch yesterday. I used it for the bubbles, some of the colors in the bubbles there, and it worked really well. It worked really well with the traditional watercolors. It mixed well. Like, I love how the gold mixed in with my other watercolors and just gave it a pretty sheen. I don't think they're anything super unique. They look like they may be the Semi Art metallics. They don't look like the Superior metallics to me. They're thin. Their other watercolor pans or thin pans are made by Superior. So I always am curious about the origin of different products, because a lot of times companies have other manufacturers make their products and then they might package them differently because it just makes more sense financially, and they can bring it at a lower price point. They don't have to be an expert in like a particular product to be able to offer it in their line. So these to me kind of remind me of the Semi Art metallic watercolors. They have some good pigment. I wouldn't say they're super shiny though. This paper is a little bit coated, so I think that adds to the shine. But if you look at my sketchbook here, this is Arch's paper. My swatch there, if I tip that to the light, the silver and the gold and the black are pretty shiny, but the other ones really are just kind of a subtle pearl. They're almost like a chalky shimmer. So they're not going to be the most, you know, most flashy metallics. And I'm going to compare them with a set that you guys might have. These are my favorite metallic watercolors. These are the Paul Rubens metallic watercolors. And so I usually compare new watercolor sets to them, because as you can see, these are very reflective, even on white paper. And I just didn't, I didn't get that reflection with these. They're quite opaque, which is nice, but they just don't have that flash of shimmer that I am looking for. These actually remind me a lot of the Niji metallic watercolors. If you've ever purchased those in the really shallow pans, these remind me of those a lot. Not bad by any stretch of the imagination, but not as nice as the Paul Rubens ones. And, you know, the Superior ones aren't as nice as the Paul Rubens ones either. These are kind of my little unicorn paints. I just haven't found any that I like more than these. These can be pricey. I'm not sure what they're selling, what they're going to be selling these for, because I got an advanced set to review. So depending on what they cost, they may be a great deal, they may not. I think the Paul Rubens set is around $40 for 24. This is 15 colors, and I don't know what they're going to sell for. So I will link it in the video description. I'm filming this before they're available for sale, so it's really hard. It's kind of hard to do a review that not knowing what they're going to charge for these. But I love the size of it. It's such a nice little travel size. You could stick in your pocket, but you're probably not going to do a whole painting with metallics. You'd still need you would still like need your color sheets or something to go with it. So yeah, it's a kind of a novelty, but it's nice that they're offering that for people that want to stick with one. Like you could put these two together and they would not take up much space with a small sketchbook or whatnot. So I do kind of like that. They were easy to work with. They didn't need to be soaked. You could just go in with a wet brush and they were ready to go. They're a very soft pan. I think like if you sprayed the palette and started painting with it, I think you'd get real soggy really fast. So I wouldn't recommend that. I would say they're an average metallic watercolor set. I would say they're kind of like a budget metallic watercolor set. Not my favorite. They get the job done. They were fun to work with. I have no complaints with them. If I knew what they were charging for them, I would be a little bit better to judge. But I would say if they're under 20 bucks and you like the novelty, I mean, I love a novelty palette. If they're under 20 bucks and you like the novelty of it, then I don't think you'd be overpaying. So I just wanted to just clarify, just say that. I mean, obviously, if it's worth it to you to pay more for that, you like the convenience of it, you like that it's cork and not plastic, then by all means, go for it. I mean, not everything's plastic. These are a metal case with plastic pans. I will tell you, I have to soak these though before I use them. I need to wet them. They need to sit before I'll get any color payoff. These, I just wet my brush and I'm ready to go. So that would be an advantage if you don't have time to like spray your paints and let them sit for 5 minutes. So you don't want to deal with that. These are a harder pan. These are like, I can't press my fingernail into these when they're dry. I could press my fingernail into those when they're dry. So different strokes for different folks is, what I'm going to say about that. So this here is a new product they're offering. It is an adult coloring book. It's a floral design. The paper seems to be different than their regular sketchbook paper. It seems to be more sealed, almost like a hot press surface. There's very whimsical illustrations. I think my daughters would absolutely love this. I'll probably give it to them because I don't really like to paint other people's illustrations personally. Maybe once in a while it would be fun, but I generally like to draw and do my own thing. These are very cute. They seem to be almost like they're aimed at a younger audience and very whimsical. This is definitely something that you could bring on vacation for your kids to work on or your teens to work on, or maybe even your girlfriends if you're doing kind of like a craft night. I got friends that would enjoy working on these. Honestly, I'd probably use the paper because the paper seems nice. I'd probably just use the back of the paper for my own original work, but you could do that on any of these images you don't like. The ink is non-bleeding. I just tried a few mediums here on it. This is the color sheets. The color sheets worked great. No feathering. That mistake there of it going out of the frame, that was me, not them. Then this was watercolor marker. I used my Winsor & Newton watercolor marker there. It does not want to blend very much on its own, but you can wet the paper and color in with the marker and it will blend a bit. But to get this really light tone, I scribbled it on a piece of plastic and then I picked it up with a wet brush. This was that was also the Viviva color sheets. This was the Viviva pan paints there, which is more of like a traditional watercolor. No problems there. This was the Viviva metallics, which actually on this shiny, like slicker hot press surface had a little more sheen than it did on like my regular watercolor paper that was cold press. And yeah, the paper quality seems really nice. I didn't take a lot of time. I just wanted to make sure they didn't feather, didn't pill the paper. And the paper seems really nice. So I would say if you like the designs, I think this would be a really fun product to have. It lays flat because it's got a spiral bounding. As far as removing a sheet, I think you probably could unthread everything if you didn't want to tear it out, or you could just cut it out with a knife or leave it together in a book. This one's pretty cute. I probably would paint that one. If I was going to pick one in there, that one's really cute. I just wanted to test on one on a page that I wasn't too, I don't know, I wanted to do flowers because I do flowers a lot and I thought people might be interested in that, but I really wasn't down to spend a ton of time. That's really cute. It looks like they're toner printed because the ink has a little bit of shimmer to it, which will probably help resist your paint a bit so it's a little easier to stay in the lines. But the images look kind of familiar. Like, I'm wondering who the illustrator is because some of these look kind of familiar, this style anyway. I wonder if it says who they hired to do the illustrations. I don't see it. But it does have kind of a cute, I want to say cute young people on YouTube type vibe to it. Like, you know, see the artists that are like in their 20s that are doing really cute illustrations. It's kind of got that vibe to it. And it's cute. I think this is probably more suited to teenagers and, you know, maybe people in their early 20s or people who just have that kind of free spirit, boho aesthetic that they really like. But that's what I want to flip it through just so you could see everything that was included. I do often have people ask me if watercolor coloring pages exist because they want to paint but they don't want to draw, and this would be an option for those folks. There are a few different companies that make watercolor coloring books, and you know, you can do a quick Google search for those, but the quality of this paper is nice, and if you like the designs, I'd recommend it. If you don't like the designs, you can use the back sides of the paper, but again, I don't know what this is going to cost, so I can't tell you if that would be a good deal or not. It doesn't say what the paper is made of. So it's probably cellulose. It says premium ivory paper, but I gotta say, this is pretty white. This is whiter, I think, than the normal sketch paper, which let me just grab their sketchbook here. This is one of their folios. I'm really enjoying this. I have one that's always in my car, and this one is always in my little, I have a little captain's desk in my living room where I stash some art supplies. Actually, this is pretty white. It might be the same paper, to be honest. Let me see. I almost feel like the coloring page papers is just a touch whiter than their regular sketch paper. But I like their folios. They switched their folios. They used to have little slots, and I didn't like that as much. They switched to a thicker pocket, and I really like that now. And I do like this set quite a bit. It comes with a pen and a water brush. My water brush has gone missing apparently, but I have a couple of their Viviva sheets in here, and I use this for Inktober, for some of my Inktober stuff, so I have the Inktober list in there, and I love that I can fit all kinds of stuff in here. I'll put like my little flat compass in here, and pens and a water brush, and yeah, it's got a lot of room for stuff, and I found the paper to be quite nice. It does not respond to tape very well, but as far as, this is like, the color sheets work great on that, traditional watercolor works great, pen works great. I think I mostly use the color sheets in this, but yeah. Oh, mistake, bad pancake. Yeah, this works really well too. This would probably be my pick. If you had to pick one thing from the line, I would say go for their folio with the, I think this is the, is it A5? Yeah, go with their A5 folio that has the bigger pocket and the pen and the water brush. That's really nice to have. And sometimes I'll do this. Sometimes I'll release these in conjunction with, I think this one was, yeah, this was the Inktober one. Yeah, so I really like this product. I like the color sheets. These pan paints here that they have, I'll just show you these in case you're curious. Why not? We all like to know about different stuff, don't we? These are again in the cork palettes, which I think are kind of cute. They come with a little postcard to paint, which is just kind of fun if you need something to get started with. And they come with a swatch card that you can paint, which is, you know, nice if you want to get started with. And the sleeve will hold everything together. And this is what these sets look like. You have the laminated sheet to mix. The laminated sheets are, they've had those on their color sheets for the last couple of years, and it is such a game changer. Before they didn't have that, and it was so hard to use them because there's no place to mix. But this is the two sets that they have. They have a standard, maybe they have more. I think they just have the standard in the spring. But you probably recognize these really thin pans if you've ever used the fan watercolor palettes. It's the same paint, just a different format. If you don't like the plastic in all the other Superior made products, you can get this and have them in cork. And yeah, you definitely could refill these palettes because they're actually deeper than the thin ribbons of paint. So when you use that up, if you wanted to refill it, if you kept it so it didn't break down or whatnot, you could, or you could let it decompose. Whatever you want to do. I think their designs are really nice. They're really innovative. The quality is pretty good too, and I think the prices are fair. They're made in India. They hire mostly women, I think, and it seems like a great company. It seems like a very thoughtful, eco-friendly company. Of course, if you already have stuff that you're not using, the most eco-friendly thing you can do is use what you have. But if you're looking for something different, maybe for a gift, or you just want to try something new, these are definitely some nice products. I want to be absolutely transparent. All of these things at one time or another were sent to me for review. So if you want to let that inform how you think I might see these products, I just want you to know that these were sent to me for free. If you think that might make me more favorable to review them or less favorable or whatever, I just want to let you know that. I think I'm pretty honest with all my reviews, but I think it's also important that you know when you watch a review if the reviewer is A, being paid, or B, given the product, or C, bought it out of their own pocket. And I was not paid, but I did receive these products for free. And I was not asked to show these older products. I just thought it would be interesting if you were curious about this brand, if you've never heard of them before. They seem like really good people, and I've enjoyed their products. I wouldn't say they're my favorite art supplies, but they're fun, they're novel. This thing right here, always being in, I have one in my car and I've got one in my living room, and I do enjoy using that, especially when I'm too lazy to, go get some other supplies. I feel like they're a good middle of the road product, and they're priced kind of in that middle of the road way. So I don't know what the new things are costing, but you can check that out. You can check it out. They'll be available mid-July, and hopefully I'll be waiting to post this video till then. They should be up on the website when I post it, so you can have a look and see what you think. I will link to them in the video description. Those links, I believe, will be affiliate links, so I may earn a small commission if you choose to purchase anything after clicking on them. I also think you ought to know that, because, well, I disclose it. I always say affiliate links used if that's the case, but I feel like you need to know that. You should always know that whenever anybody's reviewing something, because it should be up to you whether you want to judge the review differently for that. So I try to be 100% honest in all respects, but I'm a human, and I might have a different opinion on one day to the next, but I try to keep it pretty fair, and that's why I will use a product over a couple different sessions and try it out. But I've been using their products for a couple of years, and I've been, in general, pretty pleased. And when they've had complaints, like their first set of Viva color sheets, I'm like, I really can't recommend these. The pages stick together. There's no place to mix, and they changed it. They put glassine between the pages so they couldn't stick together, and you could put them away wet if you had to, and they made the fold-out mixing area, and yeah, they listen to their customers, and kind of like a Hoo-Hoo listens to their customers, Viva does as well, and that goes a long way with me, because a lot of people are just like, give me your money and don't bother me. I feel like so many companies are like that nowadays, that when you have companies that listen, I think it bears mentioning, and I think, people should know that. Anyway, this has probably been longer than you bargained for. Thank you so much for watching. Please give me a thumbs up if you enjoy these reviews. And until next time, happy crafting. Bye!